Hey, Tiger friends, it's Meredith and Matt. Hey, guess where I am? I'm going to show you. Hold on. I am at. Look, that's where our roast happens. That's our magical roaster dude. And I cannot wait to show you pictures from here. But this is where roast gets roasted. This is so cool. And this is one of the brains behind the whole thing and how this even came to be. So actually, Matt, will you tell people how it even came to be? Really?
We came to be because Meredith and I, we both care about rescuing those who are being trafficked, the victims, and not only that, but providing the aftercare, and that takes funding. And so we took our coffee roasting business and created a partnership, created a product, ultimately creating a way for people to support the mission of Tiger Lily without having to spend any more than you already are. So buy coffee, drink your coffee, drink your...
Okay, so before I was rudely cut off by my camera, I ran out of space. So, Matt again. Hi, Matt. All right, so he is part of the brains behind Roast. So I'm curious to know, Matt, how did you even get into coffee? Anyway, how did you meet this cool dude, Tony? How did that happen?
Super cool story. I knew that from a kingdom standpoint, we need to capture, raise funds through things that we're already buying. Commerce, kingdom commerce. We could buy products anywhere and it can go and make somebody rich, but we want to fund what the kingdom's doing. So everybody drinks coffee, everybody loves coffee. I went through 5 roasters before I found Tony, and I got shut down by a guy, and I literally found myself Googling coffee roaster near me. And I found a great place. I met Tony. Tony was right away, he said, I'm in, I want to be a part of this. And so that's what we're doing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We'll meet Tony in a little while. He is in the middle of making some magic roast happen right now. So I'm not going to interrupt him, but in a while, I'll get him. Okay, sit tight. So all of those beans came out of there. So cool.
We're going to take this, start reading Honduras, what your favorite flight roast, okay? Before we start working on it. And this is what we're going to end up with. Not going to be ready for coffee. Alright. So, step 1, take this, we're going to dump it in the top there. We're doing 60 pounds at a time.
Okay.
Alright. Now we're going to come over here to our roaster, the gas roaster, and drum roaster, and it's connected to our laptop. So we're going to have all the data being transferred here and plotted in real time. This is going to give us our ability to drive and figure out what to do. So now we're going to hit on. We're going to have it start connecting, and then I'm going to start it. And next thing is you're going to pull that all the way out. All the way out. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So we're syncing this with our timer to make sure our data is usable to match that efficient system. Okay. So now that you hear that message, close it. Do it one more time to make sure you got all the beats out. Okay. Close it. Now we're going to turn our gas on to get this rocking. Okay, so got a little bit of time. Okay, coffee roast. Take our beans, we add heat, and we add time. More heat, time to darken the roast. Okay. Now we're doing our breakfast blend, our light roast. Right. So we're going to do the least amount of time and the least amount of heat. Okay. So if you come over...
Is it true that the lighter it's roasted, the more caffeine?
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Because the less time, the less of it's being burnt off and evaporated.
Okay.
So down here is actually how this is working, right? We have massive gas burners, and this handle over here is how we're going to control it. So,
Okay.
and now our job is to match the line behind it with our new big blue line that's going, right?
Okay.
So we have this long curve that's acting and telling us where it's going to go.
Okay.
So how are we light tap? And we're going to slowly keep it in spec. So what you're doing with this controls our our rate of rise of how much you could. So we're at full throttle right now with gas because we're trying to get to our point here. So we're going to start edging this back. So we're going to do the light tap.
Okay.
Now a little bit more and stop. So it's back to coffee, right? This is kind of how you do it at the level of the type of coffee that you love. It's going to take a lot of human input and it's really, you have to make sure. Yeah. When you came in, I was laser focused.
Okay. I gotta go lower.
A little bit lower. All right, and we're gonna hold it there because what's happening inside of it? We're adding heat to a dried out fruit. There's moisture in there. So that moisture is going to just kind of steam and then it's going to pop. That's our first crack. So we're gonna hear sounds coming out of that.
How long does it take before you start hearing the pops?
We're not gonna hear that until about here, about 8-9 minutes. We're about 3 minutes in. When we're talking and you're seeing our focus on the degrees in the seconds, all that will play a factor. If we took longer to get to our first marker, about 300 degrees, that's when the drying ends because all the moisture is kind of released itself, and now we're going to really start pressure cooking that bean. We're going to do different techniques, different methods, and it's also going to be different depending on if it was, how cold was it here today? About 30 degrees, 40?
40.
Okay.
30, 40,
When
yeah.
it was -5, that changed this. When it's 110, that changed that. The humidity as well will play a factor. Because now we're adding more moisture to the air.
Does the machine tell you all of that or
That's
no?
you. That's your job.
Okay.
No pressure.
Right?
So we're a little,
He's an artist.
we're a
for real.
little bit higher, right?
Okay.
So that's okay. So we're gonna tap it slightly, and we're gonna kind of wait. So it's like really carving away chip by chip. We're not doing anything crazy. Once we started with seeing all those different examples, we had tests, fast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're gonna see, bring various timing differences, how the flavors change. So our thing is that every time we get a new batch of coffee, and every time we work with an organization like you guys, we're developing yours. So yours is yours. You signed off on it. That's why you love it. That's why your light roast is consistently one of your biggest topics. What we're looking at, right? This big blue line, that is bean temp, and that's our rate of rise. That's how many degrees per minute the coffee's heating up. So we're able to project out at what time point the bean should roughly be. So we're thinking first crack. We were talking about that top one. We're thinking that's going to happen around 8:06 right now, and that's increasing. This line back here.
Yeah, I was wondering that one.
So this is the temperature of the bean. This is telling you how quickly that degree change is happening. So in the beginning, right, it immediately dropped down and got colder as we added a room temp thing into the drum. Drop the temp. But now it's absorbing the heat from the drum. You see how that started shooting up because it's going.
So this is the bean temperature?
Yes, that's the degree of change in the bean temperature.
Okay.
So when it was really high up, it means it was rapidly increasing. And as we kind of go through it, it keeps dropping down lower and lower because we're controlling when we're turning the gas back, turning it back on. So you know what it looks like going in, right? Yeah. You know what it looks like coming out?
Yeah.
So you're gonna take this, okay, point it up, and pull it out. This is how you can see the coffee beans without putting your head inside an oven.
Oh, how cool is that?
So we're going to be looking at that and having, again, it's the whole sensory thing. So you're going to put it back in,
Okay.
point it down, and what we're able to do with that is kind of pull it out real quick and see what the beans look like. Do we have any hot spots or any charring? Is it color is another way to kind of gauge your consistency.
So inside of this is just like steady spinning like a cement mixer?
Correct. See, we're doing a really good job of keeping this consistent. And that's great since it's the exact same day. It was actually minutes from that last batch we did. So what that means at the end of the day, it's going to taste the same. We work really hard to make sure that our blends are going to showcase the same thing. So what you like, if you did like a yearly subscription, it's going to taste the same every single month and give you the same flavors that you guys like. What we're doing here, it's application based. So each of our roasting, if we're going to do roasting for your K-cup, we're tweaking all this slightly. We're doing it for your whole bean and ground. How do you make coffee at home?
I grind it and then I put it in my coffee pot. Yeah.
Okay, a different style of coffee would be espresso. And that's going to be another characteristic of what we would be working with. So when you're out working with organizations who are using your coffee, that's where you kind of talk back to us and we help make sure that the hotel gets the right coffee for what they're using, the gas station gets the right for their machines, the churches get their for their machines, as well as the restaurant. Oh, homies, all right, hear that? That's our popcorn sound. So we're gonna hit here to mark that so the computer, and look how close we were. Almost on spot. That was.
Yeah.
We got a little viewport, but you can't really see it, right? But you can hear that. You hear that popcorn sound. All right. Now we're getting close to the coffee, right? And you can smell it. It's a whole sensory thing. And if you didn't have all this, how would you roast coffee? Would you have to rely on your eyes, smell, sound? So that's how it started, and how we kind of progressed to this level of how we approach.
Very fancy.
So what do you think about it? You want to do this every day?
I don't know. That's why you do this.
You can see how all this is done before we even get to tasting, before we even get to brewing. There's this whole other art element where
Art. Absolutely.
we want to make
art.
sure that the coffee is the best showcasing of saying, hey, why are we doing this? What's the impact? What's the product? Everyone can do t-shirts.
Yeah.
But we also want to show what we are passionate about, and we're thankful to work with you guys to help your cause. So we want to make sure that we're doing something good on our end.
So awesome.
So we're going to then come over here.
This is the exciting part.
And I'm going to give you a signal. You're going to lift this up. Let's see how this is open. Let me make sure we close it.
Okay, so it doesn't hit the floor. All right, what am I doing with this?
You're going to wait for me to say pull it, and now you're going to open.
Okay, yeah.
All right, you're good.
Now?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that is beautiful.
All right, now we can close that.
And that's what I put apart.
That's what you did. You just made our breakfast bun. And then in terms of the actual review, you did really close. It's almost identical profile.
Yeah.
So, congrats. You can come roast with us anytime you want to come back in.
I mean, this alone is like it's a beautiful piece of equipment.
So this is a 10 kg roaster, so it can hold about 20 pounds of coffee at a time. And then if you look behind you, when you guys do your big orders, this is the machine we're using. This is a 20 kg, so about 40 pounds. So that way, when you're asking for the cases to ship out, we're doing that to kind of keep it a little bit quicker. This gives us a little bit more fun and freedom to play around when we're doing new R.O.A.S.T testing and whatnot. Now that we're done manufacturing, we're ready to kind of go move over to the tasting area and we can start drinking some coffee.
Okay, we're gonna drink some coffee. We're gonna go drink some coffee. Roast coffee. Reach out and stop trafficking.
I started off making coffee, thinking coffee was just a coffee machine, right? Keurig machine. Any of the big brands, that's what coffee should be. It goes back to expanding what it can be, trying more. Different brew methods. Do you want to kind of learn and play around with them? And you have the time and accessibility. So I'm looking up here and I see a Chemex, which is another style pour over. I see the Oreos, which are pretty popular and standard for pour over. Then we got French presses, and then we got more of the really fun, but you're 100% coffee nerd style at that level. And you can see a hand grinder up there. And then next to me is an espresso machine. I don't assume my end users, customers, are going to be using that. So back to what we were roasting. If I knew everyone
that really cool and
it's a Bunsen burner kind of thing. The fire below it. Let's talk about brewing coffee. You brew in a Mr. Coffee, right?
Yes.
Do you measure it?
I cite it.
Do you descale it? Do you ever feel the mineral buildup in the water?
No.
You know the pH level of the water, right?
No, I don't. I know it's not the best.
So all those questions, right, are like, wait, is there more? Yes, there's 100% more that can go in there. We're going to be using pretty neutral pH water, and it's been treated through our hot water boiler. It's got the temperature control as well. And then it goes back to this dosage of how much coffee to water and what ratios do you know. That would make an impact. If you make a cake and you only have so much frosting and you don't have that right, it's going to be that really thin. Or if you have a gallon of it and you have a tiny cake, it's just that not optimal ratio, right? Same thing here. We're going to use a ratio of about 25 grams of coffee here. So about 375 grams of water. We roasted 2 different batches, and we're testing, and we're going to see how 20 seconds and 8 degrees change the two. And we're going to see if you can taste it, as well as if I can describe it correctly.
Okay.
We're going to take our water, and we're going to start the first step. Okay, and if you get close there, you're going to see this chemical reaction happening, right? It's bubbling up, it's getting bigger. We call that the ballooning. We talked about the gases that form after the roasting process. And so we get nitrogen and CO2 that's bubbling out and it's causing that to expand. So we're going to give it about 30 seconds here to let it do its thing. And then we're going to continue on and keep adding more and more water.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see that happen when you use a Mr. Coffee.
I wake up and I have to go. So I may not always have this now. This is normally my weekend. So I've got my time out, and then I'm going to keep adding my water. I'm going to try and get the full extraction going and giving it time to go down again. It's extracting the coffee flavors, the caffeine, and the grind that we're using. So if it's too fine or too big for your application, that would again make it an inferior product. So this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. That's why you offering whole beans is awesome, because that allows me at the end user to grind
However you need to.
And you can go with a $20 Walmart grinder. You can get really into the weeds and have something that gives you more control. Now I got this a little bit lower. You can see it's just passing through there. Just gonna top it back off and go from the edges to the inside to make sure that I kind of get a nice even extraction. Imagine if we dump it all in one spot. That one spot's gonna get really nice extraction.
Yeah.
But the edges won't. So your end of the day, it's not an even
Balance.
So Mr. Coffee can't do that. Mr. Coffee is just going to drip in one spot. He's not going over there. So that's why if you were to do the same coffee that you love in Mr. Coffee, but you did this and you have that control, it's probably going to be kicked up a little bit more and a better showcase for flavors you like. We're talking and it will take you 5 minutes to make a cup of coffee that you could have got from a drive-thru, right?
Yeah.
We took a lot of effort to ensure that our coffee is smooth and allows you to keep drinking it even if you didn't have that 30 minutes. So it's going to be a good fit for your thermos throughout the day.
Perfect.
So we're going to have you do one of a pour over, right?
So the first time I've ever done this, I'm going to be a little dainty.
Okay.
Okay. So oh geez. Okay. Woo.
So first step is we're adding 75 grams of water.
I'm not watching very well.
All right, you're at 50, 60, 70.
Oh, so close.
Real close. And do a little bit more. Okay?
Oh, too much.
No problem, no problem. Now we're going to wait, and we're going to see our degassing happening, our balloon. And from just the experience, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Now. This is where like the coffee starts going everywhere throughout the room. So this is what's happening in your Mr. Coffee. But you can
it doesn't smell this good.
and it doesn't come out looking like that.
Yeah.
This is the one we just did.
Yeah.
And you can see how
deflated.
Yes, and it looks different than even what you would see in a coffee basket.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're giving it about 40 seconds, so we're good now. Now we can add more. And our total number we're aiming for of water is 375.
Okay. So am I doing any particular pattern or something?
You want to do the edges again and kind of try and coat as much of it evenly as possible for a good extraction.
I like not breathing.
Yeah, people sometimes get stressed out about coffee and like artisan coffee and what does that mean? I would just say it's just the appreciation of the ingredients and learning to work with them. I wouldn't say there's a right and a wrong method. We can give it a little bit of time because we don't want to overload it, and so you kind of let it start here and then drain down and go from there. Does this feel different than your normal morning routine of how to do coffee?
Yeah, I'm a little stressed right now. No, I'm not stressed. But honestly, not to like, okay, not for nothing, but to do this in the morning would honestly be like, I would feel successful because it's like a process. It's not just like stumbling in the kitchen, pressing the button, stumbling back out, waiting for it to go. Like you're interacting with your coffee.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And I would feel like I just produced something.
Now when you add water to this, see if the color is different, that like foam. See if you can see any differences between the two. Because our test here is to see
quality control between 2 batches and to see how they change different. See how that's lighter? It's more white than it is blonde.
So what's the ratio then that you did of bean to water?
Ideally, 25 grams of coffee to 375 grams of water.
Okay.
Our brew time, we want to keep it between about 3:30 to 4 minutes for that full extraction. Again, these are kind of like guidelines. Everyone's going to have different opinions on how to do it.
I didn't even know that this was a thing. Tasty, tasty tester. Brew 2. Okay.
So
Okay.
we're going to now have you taste these. We brewed these within minutes of each other. These are our pour-overs. Roughly the same spec, same bean, same roasting profile, same day. The first one was a little bit shorter and a little bit cooler. And this one went about 15 seconds longer and about 8 degrees hotter. I'm going to give you one of these.
Okay.
And give me your first initial response. This is our breakfast blend.
Okay, so initial response of the first brew.
This is test batch 1 of our breakfast blend.
Test batch of a breakfast blend. Man, it's smooth.
So
It
what,
says good morning.
what we're doing here is getting that sneak peek of what it's actually going to be. We're going to do about 48 hours of resting in between that. That's going to change the flavors and the profile of what we're going to get. This is our sneak peek of what we're going to end up with. You can see the similarities, but you know it's not quite there. It's like development time is still needed. And we make sure that we give it that 40 hours of rest before we prep it for shipping for the customer for the longest shelf life. If it's going in bag or ground form, or if it's going in the K-cups, we degas it so to have longer shelf life and the freshness of when we seal that.
Okay, so now we are on, this is part 2. This is the one that I partake in the roasting. So this is test 2 of the same breakfast blend. Okay.
Slightly different time and slightly different heat level.
Okay. I should rinse my palate. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's one of the small variables and kind of like...
I like this one better.
try
Not
it
that the other
all.
was bad, but this I just like it better.
Now it's our job to keep that and bring that to you guys, put that in the bag. You know, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, that's what you're going to get.
This is delightful. Very nice, very nice. I wish I had the proper vocabulary to tell like the notes and the taste.
Let's make it easy. Let's say, is it bitter?
No, it's not bitter.
Okay. Is it smooth?
Very smooth.
Is it a clean finish, meaning that it doesn't linger?
Very, yeah, yeah. I could totally sip on this like on ice and just sip on it. Well, this would be definitely something that you would treat yourself to, but imagine like treating yourself to it every single day, not just going to get a cup of coffee because I gotta wake up. Like this is the full package of I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have the best cup of coffee and I'm gonna treat myself. And I'm telling you what, this little process, I'm sold on that. I think I'm getting me one. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think better. It's a better showcase of more of the flavors. It's more.
It's
vibrant.
full body. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good word. Vibrant. After all of this awesomeness, it's clearly proven that this is an art form.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is this? Why should our roast shoppers be so intrigued by this process as opposed to just popping on over to Starbucks and getting your coffee?
Right there is the first step. It's pressure. And we took time and care to learn all the ingredients available and develop and play with them so that we can showcase the best. When you go to the bigger chains, you got to wonder where in the country they roast that coffee and where are you? So then how long was it in storage? And then who's prepping it for you?
Hey Tiger friends, was that not so freaking cool? I am so honored that that is our coffee. That is our roast. So when you order roast, you are getting some quality artisan coffee. So cool. So that was kind of an abrupt end. We had a lot of video footage and somehow I lost the very tail end of some details, but you get the gist of it. Tony is brilliant. He really puts all of his heart and energy into putting out a really awesome quality product. So go on to the TigerStore today, get your roast, sign up for a subscription. It's no-brainer coffee. It'll just come to you as you want it, with its weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. There's a few other options too. I don't really know all of them, but you can set up to just come to you. And you can also, if you're interested in promoting, selling roast yourself, you can be an affiliate, and we can give you an affiliate link where you could sell roast on our behalf, and you get a little bit of a little something for it. That's kind of cool. So that's a way for you to get involved. So if you are interested in becoming an affiliate, after watching just, how quality driven this whole entire thing is, then drop a comment, give us a call. You can reach us at 636-219-9545, or you can email tigerlilyresources@proton.me. But yeah, I'm so thankful that we got the field trip that we did to go see roast, and we get to share this with you. And just know that you are getting beautiful, beautiful product for a purpose. Every bag of roast that you buy helps in the fight to end human trafficking in the United States of America. So thank you all so much, Tiger friends. We love you so much. Thank you always for your prayers, your support, and your giving. So this is Meredith with Tiger Lily Resources, and I am signing off. Roast Coffee. Reach out and stop trafficking. Hand-roasted artisan coffee made fresh with each online order. Visit the Tiger Lily website at www.tigerlilyresources.org. That's TigerLili resources.org. And visit the TigerStore. Choose from the breakfast blend, Brazilian medium roast, the bold Colombian dark roast, or go for all three with the variety pack. Choose whole bean or ground. Every order helps women and children who are victims of sexual exploitation or human sex trafficking in the United States of America. Why would you drink any other coffee?